right, Happy New Year, everybody. Let me be one of the first to wish everybody a happy 2025. We just got over the finish line or the goal line, whatever you want to call it, last night at midnight. Today is the first, January 1st of 2025. So welcome to the new year. Looking forward to learning some cool, interesting new things related to data science, machine learning, deep learning, AI, whatever the topic is. Okay, so today I want to talk about summarizing revenues and expenses and overall general labor costs from a 10K financial statement. I'm going to try to make more of my videos related to finance. I feel like finance is kind of underutilized or underappreciated. What's the word? Under recognized. Under everything. Okay, I got my MBA in finance back in 2023, so like 21 and a half years ago I finished, and it was unfortunate. They don't really teach finance in high school. They don't teach it in grammar school at all, so you have no exposure to this stuff unless you choose it as a major in college, or unless you have a personal interest and somehow you have a passion for it and you just teach yourself everything. That could happen too. But for most people, I think they are financially illiterate. So I think I'm going to change the focus of my channel just a little bit and try to focus a little bit more on financial types of things. I think it's very important um, in this world that we live in. I think a lot of people just don't understand finance, and it really hurts them quite a bit. So let's try to change that. Okay, so we're going to look at a 10K. A 10K is basically a financial statement produced by any type of publicly held entity, right? So if you are a publicly traded enterprise, um, and there's so many, right? Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Starbucks, Apple, like you just take your pick, right? Like there's publicly traded companies everywhere. They always have to follow GAAP rules, and you have to produce publicly declared, publicly stated financial statements, right? So you have your cash flow, your revenue, your income statement, things like this. Those are the big three, right? You also have to produce a 10K, which shows you the annual revenue and all the transactions, everything that happened with the business for the last year, right? It has to be very transparent, completely opposite of the way that Bernie Madoff ran his company, right? Like that was all smoke and mirrors. When you have a publicly traded company, you have to be very, very, very transparent. And if you make a mistake with your financials, you have to restate the financials, right? So it's very important to have a grasp of this stuff. So we're going to look at a 10K. And recently, my wife and I went on a cruise to what was it? I might make a mistake here. Bahamas, right? We went to Nassau, Bahamas, and Coco Cay. All the small islands down there are called Cays, and the islands are Cays. So went to Coco Cay and Nassau on the as a couple stopover points for this cruise, right? So we left from New Jersey, Bayonne, New Jersey, I think that's what it's called, and went down went down there. We had like 2.5 days riding on the boat on the cruise, and it was very impressive. I was very, very infatuated with this type of thing. I've never been on a cruise in my life, and I thought it was a great experience. I'd highly recommend it. There's so many things to do between all the nighttime entertainment. There was like Broadway shows almost every night. We had one night there was a comedian, extremely hilarious. I almost fell on my seat laughing so hard. They had, had a uh, Michael Jackson impersonator, just all kinds of stuff, like tons and tons of entertainment for the kids. They had surfing, they had iFly. You can get into like a cylinder and air blows up and flies you around. They had bumper cars, soccer, basketball, pickleball, hockey, bumper cars. I think I mentioned that. They had all kinds of like foosball and billiards and shuffleboard, and oh my goodness, the list went on and on. So I was um, very much enraptured by this experience. But I started thinking like, how are these guys making money, right? Like how I want to understand the financial statement of this company. This is Carnival Cruise Lines, right? I'm sorry, Carnival. What is it? I have this thing over here. Yeah, this is it. So here's the 10K for Carnival. I want to analyze this 10K just generally and say this thing is basically like, how many pages is this sucker? if I go down here, it's a lot. 180, maybe more. 118. Okay, so it's very substantial. It's not too bad. It's a little over 100 pages, 118 total. But I want to analyze this 10K quickly and easily and understand basically what's going on with this company. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stream read the contents of the document. I'm not going to run this code. This will run for you, but I'm not going to run it. Usually I hit Control Enter and refresh everything and show you how this code runs. You can go ahead and copy it yourself. You can put it in your own Jupyter notebook and run it yourself. And the nice thing is you can substitute this carnivalcorporation.com 10K financial document for any kind of financial document, and it's going to work. So I try to make all my videos pretty generic, so you can go ahead and solve your own very specific problems. I can't solve every problem in the world for everybody, but I try to make it generic, scalable, upwards and outwards, so you can do this for yourself. So this will work with any basically any PDF, but any kind of 10K statement from any publicly traded company. You can do this for yourself. Okay, so I'm not going to refresh this just because it takes too long to run. But you can see here, so here's the code. I'm reading the PDF. This is coming through a request made to the server, and I'm going to open it. I can save this. Okay, I have this file that I'm opening as a PDF, and I can go ahead and interpret everything as text. So I am going to put this into a variable called text and read it into memory. These are the first 500 characters of the document. So United States Securities and Exchange Commission, 20549. That's what we see right over here, 20549. That's the zip code, right? Form 10K. Okay, so we have that in report pursuant to Carnival Corporation, Carnival PLC, exact name of. Now let me search for this thing right here. Now, this is only the first 500 characters, but you can see that everything is preserved in memory, right? So if I go here, exact name of, and it goes on and on, right? So how many characters are there total? I mean, I have to copy and paste this and put it into Word. I don't even know what this would be, but there's a lot of characters. So we're only looking at the first 500. That's it. Okay, so we're slicing the first 500 characters. And I want to go ahead and summarize this into three main buckets. So sources of revenue, expenses, and labor costs. That's what I want to look at. Okay, I want to understand how is this cruise line making money? That's the source of revenue. What are their overall expenses? This is labor costs, fuel, overall operating costs, costs to do business, costs of staying in business. These are some fixed costs, and then you'll have some capital expenditures, like if you create a new boat, right? There's a big startup cost. There's a barrier to entry. And the cruise line will have to issue debt for that probably, unless they're cash rich. Some companies are very cash rich, like Microsoft, Apple. But this changes over time. I remember back in, this is interesting. I think back in '94, Microsoft actually bailed out Apple because they were on the verge of bankruptcy. Let me Google this. I just thought of this thing. Bails out Apple. Sorry for going off on a tangent here. 1997, Bill Gates stepped in and saved Apple. At the time, it was on the brink of bankruptcy. So I thought it was 94. It's actually 97. Okay. So that might predate some people here, but Bill Gates actually stepped in and saved Apple from imminent collapse. And why did they do that? This was a hotly debated topic at the time, and maybe even still today. Why did Microsoft do this? Personally, I think they did that because they wanted somebody to compete against. If Apple went out of business and Microsoft was all by itself, Microsoft would probably get weak, would probably get soft. There's a quote in the Bible as a friend, as steel sharpens steel, so a friend sharpens a friend. I think that's essentially the message from the Bible, and that's true. Like you need somebody to sharpen you, or you can't grow. You can't get better, right? You'll only get bitter over time. You won't get better over time. You need some kind of competition so you can strengthen yourself, right? So anyway, why are we going off a tangent? I'm not too sure, but we're trying to understand the sources of revenue, overall expenses, and labor costs. I'm not going to put this, I'm not going to run the code, but you can see the last time I ran this, it's just too slow to run it. So top sources of revenue, exclusive islands. So they actually own islands. Some of these cruise lines own islands. They'll take you straight to the island, and you can go on water slides. You can go to uh, the park, have some food. Everything is these things are all inclusive, right? So when you get there, you don't really have to pay money. Maybe for the water slide, but not for the food. That's for sure. Um, so top sources of revenue, we see that summarized here. That's what I like about this code. So it takes 118 pages from here and summarizes and distills that into just a um, couple buckets here. So major expenses. So here's the top sources of revenue, right? So we can see that major expenses. Looking forward to statements. Those statements that relate to the outlook of financials. EBITDA. I had another video about EBIT and EBITDA. So what else? Fuel prices, higher interest rates, other than general concerns, and the inability to recruit or retrain qualified shoreside or shipboard team members. So those are expenses, right? So onboarding people, HR and human resources, right? So these are uh, major expenses, and then labor costs. So my question is, how the heck are these cruise lines making money? Because we didn't pay a whole lot. We paid, I think, $200 per person per day. So my wife, my son, and I were on this cruise for I think 7 days, right? So 600 each, 6 and 7, 42, 4,200 we paid. But you get so much, all the entertainment, all of the food, the drinks. You're living in the lap of luxury for 7 days. Um, it's really quite an amazing deal, right? So here's the labor costs. So I think they're making their money because they are underpaying their staff here. The staff rides around on a cruise. I think the staff was about 1,600 people, and they had like 5,000 or so guests, right? And about 1,600 were taking care of these guests. So on a cruise total, like 6,600 ballpark, just kind of estimating there. So, anyways, that's a summary of the revenue and expense and then the labor costs. So I want to go ahead and filter these and take chunks and use a transformer pipeline. So I have a couple videos about transformers. This is how we use AI to sort of interpret the contents of the document, right? So I want a summary of what's going on here. I don't want just necessarily like straight up, this is a summary of the text. That's very helpful. That's very useful, right? But I want AI right here to help me out a little bit and kind of do the lift for me and help me to understand the revenue and expense and the labor text. So this is just straight up summarization of the text. This is AI summarization of the text, okay? So we get down here. Princess Alaska Tour, revenue, operating income generated by May, what is this? Roman numerals 1x4, May 4, I think. May 9. Onboarding team members. And we get down here to 2/3 of 2024, right? This is the 2023 10K, I think, because we just finished 2024 yesterday, so that's not out yet. So they're doing a forecast here of the next year, increase in revenues. Okay, so we get more like an AI angle on this kind of thing, right? Now we're going down here and getting the expense summary. So this is the revenue summary using this transformer right here, transformer and summarizer from this pipeline. Let me get a quick drink. Okay, so continue on. So we have the revenue transformer, summarized expense transformer, summarized, and labor transformer summary. So this is the revenue summary. Here's the expense summary. We see risk factor, climate change. Yep, that's going to be a big one in the future. Nobody knows what that wild card is going to look like. And we have some numbers down here, operating expenses, and so on and so forth. So that's using the AI transformer to go ahead and create the summary for us. And here's the labor costs. We're committed to providing a healthy environment for all guests and no disruptions, third-party logistics, supply chain disruption to vendors, including critical supply chain shortages. That happened all through COVID. Remember that was a mess. Labor shortages. Yep, that's ongoing and consistent and persistent as well. So now we are going to go ahead. So there's just two methods. So we're using a basic summary. We're using a transformer to help us with our summary. Now we're looking at keywords. Okay, keywords for revenue, expenses, and labor costs. Okay, and we're going to get this in numeric formats. Now we're looking mostly at numbers. We're focusing on the numbers. So we have some line items. They tend to use Roman numerals. Not sure why. This is 9. This is 10, 11, 12. This is 10% of our revenues or a wide variety of educational programs, including websites, seminars. Though that's interesting. I didn't know that they had educational programs for this cruise. That's very interesting. And it comprises 10% of their revenues. That's pretty substantial, actually. And also talking about Section 883 of the Internal Revenue Code. No idea what that is. It's just coming out because this is numeric. Now we're looking at more numbers, right? We're doing number crunching here. And U.S. state income tax. And what else is talking about? Full year revenue hit all-time high, 21.6 billion. So that's pretty huge. I remember during COVID, like a lot of these cruise lines were shut down. They're hemorrhaging cash. Now they are basically printing cash. 21.6 billion. That's a big number. Even if you're Elon Musk, you're going to notice that, right? So here's some more numbers right here. We expected an increase in revenue in 2024. Okay, so now we're just looking at numbers. We're just trying to extract numbers and doing a quick summary of what's going on here with this 10K, right? So let's go down a little bit more. We have some more stuff down here. Other comprehensive income or loss, right? If it's negative, it goes in brackets. It's a loss. It actually looks like it's negative. They have comprehensive income or loss, comprehensive loss, and net income. That must be due to depreciation or something because we saw they made 21 billion and now they have a loss. That must be due to depreciation or the the overall, like, was it operating expenses, food, fuel, human resources. This all costs money. So let's go down a little bit more and more and more and more, and we get kind of to the end. Recent actuarial review, total expenses for the multi-employer plans was 1 million in 2023, 2 million in 2022. So actually reduced it. They cut in half for 2023, and 20 million. And I'm guessing that is 2021 or something, 2022, probably 2023, 2022, because they're going down, they're going backwards in time. So that's it. So I just want to take you through that. So it's a very quick and easy way to capture income, capture data from a 10K financial report where we're looking at income, expenses, and labor costs. Okay, and there's a quick, easy way to summarize all of this using Python, so I don't have to read through 118 pages of this. I think this could be interesting, but do I really have time to read 118 pages for these guys? Probably not. And the nice thing is you can just change this code at the beginning, right? When we pull this from the request that we make to the server, this is Carnival Cruise Lines, you can pull in any 10K and do the same analysis for anything, right? So Starbucks, Amazon, Microsoft, Ford Motor Company, Hewlett Packard, okay, take your pick. Anything is publicly traded that has a 10K that they create for the transparency of the overall operations of that enterprise. You can capture all this and summarize it in a very quick, easy, neat, very very crisp fashion, right? So that's what we're doing here, okay? So that's pretty much it. I think we're going to wrap it up right now. Thank you for spending some time and getting intimate with this stuff. I like this a lot. I'm going to try to do more financially related data science videos soon, and I will publish my results as soon as it's done, okay? Thanks for your time today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.